Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies. My name is Daniel King. Anyway, in the studio today here, I've got old nasty Nate back in the house. You'll recall Nate from the Silver Bullet, The Howling episode. The Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf.
Welcome back to me.
How you been, Nate?
I've been doing all right. Christmas is over for the mail route.
This is our first episode back from the break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It is nice to not have to worry about, am I going to make it back to the post office depot in time before 4/4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. He works for the postal service, baby. He knows all your dirty secrets that you send in the mail. He knows all your credit card numbers, all your social security numbers. But it's okay. Your secrets are safe with him because it's the job of every postal carrier to read the mail before they deliver it. Just kidding. None of that's true. If you're not familiar with the show, it just sounds like we're droning on. But what the show's about, we watch a good movie, we watch a bad movie, we talk about them both. So what we do is, the objective here is we flip-flop who gets to choose the good movie. And then the bad movie, we'll usually just agree upon, like, yeah, whatever, I haven't seen this either, let's watch it. So I pick the good movie, and my goal approaching it is always, like, what do I think you would really like that I think that you've never seen? And
You hit it spot on.
yeah, good. Oh, that's awesome, man. That feels great. So I went with Arrival. If you've not seen Arrival, it is a 2016 September release, 1 hour, 56-minute runtime. This is directed by Denis Villeneuve, who we've talked about on the show before. It's got a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 94% Rotten Tomatoes, 81% on Metacritic. This stars Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker, Michael Stuhlbarg, Zima, and some other like super minor characters. Mainly, this movie's Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and Forrest Whitaker. Just the dream team.
Yep.
Tell the people, in your own words, briefly, without spoiling anything. You can spoil a little. Think about like what they probably gave away in the trailer. What's this about?
Aliens comes down.
Aliens comes down. That's right. That's the. I like that. Now, when the aliens comes down, the thing that I like is they're off to the races.
It's not 5 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, I was like, you're not an hour into it or 45 minutes or whatever. There's no ratcheting up of like, are they coming? No, they're like, boom, they're here.
Immediately. That's something that I really like to see about this film.
So again, before we get into it, what's your synopsis?
Aliens comes down, and the main character is a interpreter. Translator, more like... She has a doctorate of language. Yeah, she teaches at a university about languages.
She's a languagist.
Yeah, languagist. And she is asked by, easily say this without too much spoiler, she's asked by the U.S. government to try and communicate with an alien species. And that's really what the movie's about.
That's a linguist.
Linguist.
We were both having a hard time there. It doesn't matter.
Even though that word was probably said like 10 or 15 times in the film.
I don't think they said they were just like, she's going to be our translator. Because they didn't care about what she did. They just wanted her for what she could do.
They wanted results.
Yeah, we'll get there. So they get Amy Adams. She's like a linguist. And they're like, help us communicate with these aliens because they're not saying shit. And that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
So what, you liked it though, right? You had a good job. You had a good time with it?
I loved it. It was always something that I thought about when it comes to alien films. Whether it's people shooting at aliens or aliens come down and they want to be with friends. Whatever the alien concept is, the first thing that I always think about is, okay, how are you going to find a way to communicate with these guys?
You know what I hate? Like, to an extent, I do kind of love it because it's schlocky and silly.
Yeah.
But, like, bipedal aliens with, like, hands You know what I mean? I'm
yeah,
like, that
I
would
know what
not,
you mean.
that would not be like even the idea that an alien would look anything like you have ever even has ever even crossed your mind.
Yeah, they are evolved to live on a completely different planet.
Yeah. So it's like truly advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
That, but as a living thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I thought they did a good job with that as well.
Oh yeah, I love the design of the alien.
So we'll go ahead and dive right in. What you got Amy Adams, and she's like going to work. You can tell she's a sad lady. She's having visions, or
Having a
she's
hard time.
having dreams, and she's thinking about her daughter who died of leukemia. I will say though, I apologize. I forgot how fucking sad this movie is.
It was
Like straight away. It's very, very fucking
Oh
sad.
yeah. That kind of caught me off guard. I was like, "What is Danny having me watch?"
Well, it's like when the aliens land, though, which I'm not skipping anything. She's a teacher at a university. So she goes to class, everybody's phones are blowing up, there's a ton of people missing, and then, they're like, oh man, there's fucking aliens on the news. Hey, can you turn on the TV? Click, by the way, there's fucking aliens.
I will say that that little spot of that little scene, Amy, she nailed that acting part. Even though it's like just very subtle, like what
She's got amazing range. Like,
Oh, man.
we've done her in another movie on the podcast already, in American Hustle. She's amazing in that. If that's not one you've seen, I think you probably would get a kick out of that. It's very clever, fun hustler movie with lots of comedy in it, but also is, it's quite good. So aliens come down. She's like going to leave work, and she is like calmly walking to her car with her purse. She's just, clopping through the parking lot. All around her is fucking
Chaos.
Just absolute mayhem. If this was directed by Michael Bay, it would be Bayhem and complete chaos.
Yeah.
Jets flying overhead. Fucking people are hitting each other in the parking lot, like in vehicles, not like with fisticuffs or whatever. Yeah, it's good shit. And then in the middle of the night at her house, no, wait, is she at work the next day?
She's at work the next day, and nobody else was there.
And Forrest Whitaker comes in. He's like, I need to talk to you. You still got clearance from another job for, he's like, we gave you that text from those insurrectionists, and you made short work of it. She's like, you made short work of those insurrectionists. Pointing at the fact that she's like, she specializes in communication. You know what I mean? Communication's hard. It's difficult to communicate with people properly. So it takes a certain mindset to work in communication all day, every day, even with ancient peoples and things you don't understand. You have to be patient.
Yes.
Like there's an underlying tone through the whole movie where Forrest Whitaker he's a military man. He's a general or a colonel or whatever he is. And he is not patient.
He wants results here and now.
He's always rushing her, and she is always patient.
Throughout the film.
She's patient in the way she walks to her car after finding out that fucking aliens have
not
landed
only
on
exist,
Earth.
but there are...
That they're here. 12 places on the planet.
At first 8, but it was later revealed to be 12.
And Forrest Whitaker's like, tell me what these aliens are saying. And she's like, I can't. You know what I mean? I can't. You give me a thing, it's like whale noises and clicks, like just weird sounds. And she's like, I don't fucking know what that is. I would have to see them. Like body language is a big part of it, and all these other things. Like
before she even suggests that she goes, he immediately jumps on that and says, "You're not going. Yeah, I'm not sending you."
He's like, don't even act like you gotta go, because I know you know what this means. Tell me. And she's like, I fucking can't do it. So they leave, and she's like, what she say? You're gonna go to Brown and see Smith or whatever his name is.
Did she say Brown or Berkeley?
I think it was Berkeley. She's like, oh, you're gonna go to Berkeley and see Jameston. And he's like, yeah, I am. She's like, well, hey, before you go, ask him the Sanskrit word for war and its meaning. And like later the following day, she's like going to sleep at her bed. It's real late.
Either it was like that night or the next night or something like that.
Yeah. Helicopter lands in her backyard. She goes to the door and it's him, and he goes, what did he say that it meant? Or she's like, he goes, yeah, I asked that guy the thing you wanted me to ask him. She's like, oh yeah, what'd he say? Do you remember what he said verbatim?
What did he say?
It was like inevitable conflict.
Yeah, inevitable conflict and war.
Yeah, and he goes, what do you say it means? And she's like, well, it's actually a combination of, 4 other words and blah, blah, blah from a different older language, and it means I require more cows. So, really great way to play it.
This is a good movie.
It's very clever. There's lots of really great stuff like this. I mean, we're not going to go through all of it, but that's that whole, like, her first interaction with Forrest Whitaker, and it set the pace for how they are the whole time.
Oh, man.
She is always patient and thorough. Always patient and thorough. And based on how strong her observations are, that Forrest Whitaker is like, all right, I put my faith in you. And she never steers him wrong, but he is always trying to rush her constantly. Like, you got to give me something. You got to gimme. From the first time he walks in the door till the end of the film.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, not too much character development, character change, but it's done really, really well.
Yeah, this is a slow burn, by the way.
Oh, it is.
This is a slow burn, but it's not without keeping you roped in.
Mm-hmm.
Just like right at 2 hours doesn't feel long.
Yeah. It surprised me when it ended. I was like, wow.
So the objective is clear. You got to fucking learn how to communicate with aliens and figure out the good shit. Why are they here? Where are they from? What do they want? And are they capable of how are they capable of faster than light travel? Because she's on the helicopter and she meets Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they're wondering about.
Another thing I want to mention, like, I'm going to skip through a bunch of this at some point, but there are so many things I want to point out, like up top, that are really good, that really suck me into this. Whoever Denis Villeneuve has to do the sound design for this, that
was something that I was going to point out.
That helicopter scene is fucking amazing.
It's not just the sound design; it's the soundtrack as well.
The soundscape, the alien noises, the whole thing.
That first scene when they were entering the ship, that's a bit of a jump.
Mm-hmm. They go in an alien craft. Get over it. You know what's
up. The double bass cello combination with the wah going on with the background. Are they like, I think they're oboes. Couldn't really tell what was going on, but it was so well done, well mastered that it just sounded it sounded so foreign and unknown.
Yeah. All the alien sounds are great. So whoever did the soundscape for this, hats off, baby. This is home run.
The swelling, the tonality, I loved it all.
Mm-hmm. I especially just liked there's a certain amount of reverb and echo when she's in the lecture hall. Yeah. When they get in the helicopter, like the sound design for the actual sound of the chopper.
You know what?
Chopper. I got it out. Chopper. And then when she puts the headphones on and she's talking to Renner and stuff, like, it all just fucking sounded amazing. And they kind of have a little cheeky moment. He says something and she's like, well, that's brilliant and it's correct. And he's like, well, yeah, you wrote it. Just reading up on her thesis.
You know what? I didn't even notice about the reverb in the lecture hall, and when it comes to that, if you don't really notice something like that, that means it's pretty well done.
Yeah. Well, on things like a slow burn, I can't always do it though. Sometimes I just get too enthralled with the story and I stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I try to notice the things like that, or I'm watching it and I'm like, God, this is good. Why is this, like, nothing's happening though? Like, why is this so good? And then I'll start trying to pick it apart. But yeah, the sound design throughout this whole thing I thought was just absolutely incredible, and that's not something we normally bring up. I think we do from time to time, but I wanted to make sure and get this out there about it because it is noteworthy how good it is.
Yeah, it was a good choice for me to watch this movie, not only for the topic, but also for the sound design.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for that kind of stuff.
This is kind of the reason that I picked it. Was that it was one of them that I was like, because I gave you a short list and I was like, we'll do one of these. But the reason I kind of like leaned into this one is,
that was something I've noticed
because I thought you would really dig the like H.P. Lovecraft fear of the unknown, leaning into that, like, oh, what? But you don't know. Ooh, like that's the scary part of a lot of it is just not knowing.
Yeah, fear
and
of
it is really well portrayed by the cast.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, "Oh, what happened?" She's like, they go in there and she goes to talk to the alien. She doesn't say shit. She just fucking freaks out. Like she freaks out quietly and takes in the experience, and then they leave, and she's like, please don't fire me. She's like, I'll do better next time. Sorry I didn't like say anything or do anything or move. And he's
Internal
like,
screaming.
Yeah, he's like, you did fucking way better than the last guy. Because he's gone and dead. Or did he die, like have a heart attack or something? It just fucking...
I don't know. I wasn't able to figure out what happened to the last guy. Did they say anything about him?
I don't know if I would be able to, if they were like, these aliens, they're here because they like your podcast. We need you to go talk to them face to face. I don't know that my body would physically let me do it. Like I think my legs would just fucking turn to jello, and I would have my mind blown so hard.
I think I would have a heart attack in anticipation.
Yeah. But it's weird, like, by the end of the movie, she's just, like knows them. They have names, and she knows which one's which and shit like that.
Yeah, they like, named him on, like, the first or second visit.
Oh, yeah. She's like, well, there's two of them. We should give them names. And Jeremy Renner's like, I was thinking Abbott and Costello. So they're breaking down language with these fucking aliens, right? Because you got all these military guys, and they're like, hi, I'm Reggie. What's your name? And they're like... just weird fucking noises that aren't from Earth, and they're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So she makes the distinction that she's gonna bring a whiteboard.
That was something that I was thinking about when I first considered watching this film, was how into are they going to get into figure out a way to communicate, because it is quite possible that a completely different evolutionary chain, that a creature on a completely different planet might not have evolved with a way of communication audio.
Basic understanding, and she breaks it down great. She's like, if you've got nothing, basic understanding of a language is best done written because you have a visual aid.
Yeah.
You can see a thing. It's not a mouth movement or a shape or a sound. It's a physical thing with hard lines you can look at and go, oh, that's what that is. So... after trying to communicate with the aliens, which they later name heptapods.
Hepta for 7, pods for legs.
Feet.
Yeah.
So they have 7 legs. They look like a octopus hand. Like do your hand like your hand's walking on the table, but just imagine that you got 2 more fingers.
Yeah. I really like the design of this alien.
Well, yeah, because they look fucking alien as shit. You know what I mean? Like they kind of look like a cephalopod, but not really. So yeah, no, I thought it was amazing design, because it would be something impractical and fucking bizarre. And the one note I did have though is that they had like the little suction cup.
Yeah, so
that's a little.
They've got 7 legs, and on each leg they've got 7 fingers, but it's like a squid kind of thing with the suction cups.
Yeah,
and they emit like a ink kind of thing from those hands,
like an ink dust,
ink
smoke
that moves into a position that they want.
They seem to be able to control it telepathically.
Yeah.
This ink they shoot out of the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
hand in like 3 quotation marks.
Right, yeah, which is it looks dope as shit. Like
I love it.
Their writing, dude, it's fucking cool. It's real cool. If I could learn how to write in heptapod, I would do that, because it would just be neat.
It looks like something that I want to learn how to do.
It's like it's like heavy metal band looking shit.
Yeah.
So they start with basic communication. Everybody's got those like big fat orange hazmat suits on. And at first she's like, they can't see me. So she's just goes rogue, takes off her hazmat suit.
This was like the second or third
Central,
visit.
you come in.
Yeah, this was like...
Got ya.
Yeah, you got
no,
me.
carry on.
This was like the second or third visit, and it's when she realized, okay, so for as long as each visit, they've only seen me and my crew in
these
a
orange
hazmat.
suit.
Yeah,
they just think this is what we look like.
Yeah,
in orange suits, and we all look exactly the same.
We need to show them that they're what we actually look like. A way to kind of show.
So she writes her name on the whiteboard. Takes her fucking thing off and walks up to the weird glass divider wall between the two of them. And I like the way they bring the attention to it. They're like, well, you never know, like because the hatch for the people to go into the ship only stays open for so long during so many intervals.
They open it every 18 hours.
Right, and they do discuss it though. They're like, oh, they have to, they're like, oh, how long does it take to suck the air out or whatever? And he's like, actually, depending on what what their atmosphere is like that they're used to. He's like, it could take 18 hours just for them to repressurize that cab. The guy's like,
Yeah.
oh, wow. Oh. Yeah, good. I like good thought out sciencey stuff is good for me. I like it. Now, that might not sound very sciencey using a word like sciencey, but I do love it. It's like my favorite type of casual reading that doesn't sound casual, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Also, in bad movies, I love like bad science.
Yeah.
I love really bad science because they're like, who cares? But I care. So I feel like it's a joke made for me sometimes. Anyway, the aliens look great. And this is where I say I'm going to speed through some of it, is because there's just the fucking best montage in a movie.
Oh my God, it's so well done.
Like, this is how this is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever seen a movie with a montage and you're like, this is stupid and practical and overplayed, this is how you do it right. Because it's months and months. And I also feel like it's been months and months while it goes on. It's not like, or what's the timeline here like? It's like 10 months.
I'd say so, but that long, yeah.
Yeah. It's very well portrayed. Also, how good was Jeremy Renner in this?
Pretty good.
As a particle physicist?
He's some kind of science man.
Kind of science man, or a very specific science man, one or the other. Yeah, but he's loving a number. He's loving some science.
Yeah,
he is loving science.
He loves how Amy breaks down language into numbers. He's a big fan of that.
It gives him a big nerd on.
Yeah,
because he fucking loves it. And also, he's Jeremy Renner, so he's quite charming. And I really like the way they portray how like Amy Adams has a much different reaction to meeting alien life as opposed to Jeremy Renner, who is like a fucking kid in a candy store. Like, he's like, oh my God, like he's just freaking out. It would be like somebody's like, hey, you want to see a Dimetrodon, like just a dinosaur? I would be like, are you fucking like a live one? They'd be like, yeah, I cloned one in my backyard, don't tell anybody, it's a secret. I'd be like, fucking yeah, dude.
Yeah
I would be blown away. Love that shit. That'd be so awesome. But
his reactions to aliens would probably be my reaction to aliens.
Yeah, at a certain point, as soon as I knew that they weren't here to like fucking haunt my nightmares and murder my family, I would immediately be like boyish wonder and just overcome with how fucking amazing it is.
Yeah.
But at first, I would be like, they want to haunt my dreams and murder my family. And I would be freaking out about that. Like, they want my galvanized nickel. It's just that's what they're here for, man. Just the weirdest mineral, clay. That's what they're here for. Just a very...
They want oil.
Shit. In that case, we're not going down without a fight. So what do you got over there, Nate? You got any good notes or gems going on this?
The twist. Huge, big fan of it. I'm not sure if it's really a twist because you can kind of see it coming as it happens.
It's not a twist. They kind of play into it. So
yeah.
They even like foreshadow it. They're like, what if they don't even perceive time, the passage of time the way we perceive it? Somebody's like, what do you mean?
It was that foreshadow. I wouldn't even really compare it to anything. It was very well done and very subtly done.
It's
like
almost like they blatantly tell you outright, but it's such a high level concept. Not like it's like, oh, if you watch this movie, you won't get it. No, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Because it's a good movie. It does a really good job of like showing it all to you, but they do kind of come right out and tell you, and it's still not obvious that's what's happening. And I've even seen this before. Let's
contrast it with Silver Bullet when Child said, What if it's a werewolf? That's a really bad foreshadow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How they did it in this movie with how the aliens perceive time, very well done. I wasn't really expecting it at all. No, I had even seen this before and I forgot about it. I was like, maybe they show her how to see the future or something. Like, I couldn't really remember what was going on. But I was like, she has these visions. I don't even remember what it's about. So the whole time this movie is going, Amy Adams is having these like increasing, overwhelming visions or glimpses of a little girl. Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, it shows you the little girl. She's a little girl. She gets a little bit older. She's a teenager. She's a whatever. And then she gets a very rare disease, and then she dies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad as shit because it's well put together. Like, it makes it sad for you. And she's seeing these snippets as the movie goes on, but she doesn't want to tell anybody because they're afraid she'll take her off the fucking mission. And she's even hallucinating heptapods.
In various situations. She's hallucinating,
she's just like, what is it? Doesn't Jeremy Renner say something to her? She's like, are you having dreams about him?
He does outright ask.
Yeah.
He was specifically mentioning that if you study a language, there's a hypothesis that it can actually change your view on certain things.
Gotcha.
Change how you kind of rewire your brain to perceive the world in a different way.
Right.
Mainly because you're perceiving the world in a different language. And then asks, are you having dreams about them? Are you perceiving things differently?
And she is.
She's
also perceiving the flow of time differently. So
yes.
Here's the big spoiler for the whole movie is there's a bit where the heptapods are like, she's like, she finally asks them, they've been here for like 10 months or whatever, and she's like, why are you here? And they're like, to give weapon. And she's like, whoa, everybody's taking that
Scaring
out of context.
The whole world.
What's the difference between a weapon and a tool, really? Like, they might not understand like, we have to clarify what a weapon is.
She didn't ask the alien for the clarification, though.
Right, exactly. So, and then some dickheads stuff a bomb in there. They like sneak a bomb in there.
Yeah, part of the military guard.
There's an alien assassination attempt by some free radicals.
Yeah. There were a lot of news clips throughout this show, and they were really leaning heavily into. I guess you could compare it to InfoWars.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind
of really leaning heavily into people who their immediate reaction to aliens are they're going to invade us.
They're deliberately inducing public panic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at this point in time in the movie, they were trying to figure out a way to differentiate weapon from tool. And they didn't really know how to do that at this point in time. They didn't really understand the language fully.
Mm-hmm.
So while Amy was trying to figure out a way to, what was the name of her character?
It doesn't matter.
It's
Amy Adams. So
Amy Adams.
I always like to refer to them as the actors. That way, if you're listening to the podcast and you're curious, that's the name you would Google. You wouldn't have to Google Tammy in the movie Arrival, Aliens from Space, or whatever. You just Amy Adams. That's who.
Amy Adams is trying to work her way around to figure out to more understand this language so that they can differentiate this giant hurdle. In the meantime, because remember earlier we said that there were 12 ships that landed on the planet throughout the world. It wasn't all it wasn't all 12 ships in Montana.
Right.
Which is where the majority of the film is set in. There's one in the Indian Sea, there's one in China, one in Russia, one in
they're in very strange locations.
Yeah.
So
is something that they referenced being like, why did they land in these different places?
So Jeremy Renner, as like a particle physicist and mathematician,
science man.
He's looking at just a general science man. He's sciencing about in a laboratory somewhere. And he's doing some science, and he's like, oh my God, I mathed all over this thing. There's these images that we have, and it turns out you can reduce it all to numbers. And then he gets a decimal number, and he's like, how do you like that as a fraction? And it's 1 out of 12. It's 1/12.
So that scene is a bit of a jump, because at this point in time, all these different countries were deliberating on video call.
That is like a 3-minute jump.
That's why I said a bit.
Okay, a very tiny bit of a jump.
Bit. So all these different countries, China and Russia specifically, are jumping out of the call.
Mm-hmm.
And then the U.S. did, and then everyone else.
Oh, the world is absolute chaos during this entire fucking movie. There's a whole subplot of just the world affair.
Yeah.
And it's messy.
Somebody leaked an image of one of the aliens along with them saying weapon, and then the world becomes chaos. And then back to the point of which you mentioned with the fractions and the 1/12th.
Mm-hmm.
There was a giant ink splotch, and then the aliens kind of swam in the air away.
Yeah, like a squid or an octopus.
Yeah.
Like,
and with them NCIS Miami style, enhancing and zooming in, enhance. They found out that some of these little words were time, and the distance between them relating to just a cloud.
fit together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
But it's 1/12 of the puzzle.
1/12 of the puzzle.
So, humanity would have to work together to solve the puzzle. Wouldn't that be something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's something that they mentioned in the film, and nope, that's not going to happen, because China is mobilizing weapons, and then Russia started to, and then everyone else started to, including the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it. They math it out, and Amy Adams is like, "Oh my God, we gotta call the fucking, is it Japan or is it China?
It's China.
I think it's China. There's a general, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kick these aliens in the fucking tentacle titties."
Yep.
And this whole time she's been having these, like, you think that they're flashbacks while you're watching it, but all of a sudden she understands.
Due to her understanding the language more and more and more, she starts to see...
She's looking at this page of these thousands of, like, paragraphs, and she's like, of this alien language that nobody else can read, and she can just pick up, like, keywords based on, mathematic transcriptions, and she's like, I can read it.
I can read it. I understand
I can read it. I understand. And then she starts having you realize that the whole movie, she hasn't been having flashbacks. Like, she doesn't have a tragic...
not flashbacks, but flash forwards.
Yeah, so she's like, she's gonna have this kid, and this kid is going to die of this rare blood disease, and blah, 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 blah. And I like the way she's like, they kind of do this at the same time, where it fast forwards to the end of the movie. And they're at this big...
I love that
They're
scene
at this big
so
ball,
much.
and she comes to meet the general, and she's like,
General Chang.
So pleased to meet you. And he's like, the president has invited me as his guest of honor, but I would have never agreed to come if I knew I wasn't going to meet you directly. And then he's like, I remember when you called me on my personal phone.
On my personal phone.
Yeah, gives her the phone number.
And she's like,
he's like,
what are you talking about? Did I call you? And he's like, yeah, you called me.
He's like, I don't pretend to know how your mind works, but I'll never forget what you said. You told me my wife's dying words. And then he leans in her ear and he whispers it to her.
He shows the phone number to her, of which then she remembers back in time.
So it's flipping back and forth.
I
like
love that scene.
Present day in the future, present day in the future.
So much.
She snakes this dude's satellite phone and she fucking calls this guy on his private number and just tells him, like, listen to me, I'm not fucking crazy. You have to stand down. This is what the aliens want or whatever. These are your wife's dying words, blah, 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 blah. And this is my name. Please stand down. So he hangs up the phone, and he is just, I guess... I would have loved to see him on the other side of the phone.
I would have loved to see that,
like,
too.
Floored, start crying, you know what I mean? Have your fucking mind blown like that? That's crazy. So... And that's what Amy Adams saves the Earth with the power of communication. But the reason that the heptapods give us that information
is because they need help.
They need help from the humans, in, what'd they say, like 30,000 years?
3,000 years in the future.
3,000 years, yeah.
And they're probably aware that they were going to need help and that they do receive help.
Mm-hmm.
But because of how time works and how they perceive it, and how their minds work due to that perception, they then come to Earth and give them that gift of communication.
Right. And that's what it is. Their language is the gift.
Their language, which also comes with the side effect of
being able to see into the future. Because like, it's all of a sudden you experience time in a non-linear fashion.
It is interesting. I am a really big fan of this movie.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And I thought you would dig it. Although, if I'm being completely honest, I did not remember the time dilation, time perception thing. No, I did not remember it at all.
Oh my!
I remembered that there was something kind of like with something else was weird, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. But I remembered loving the fucking film.
Yeah.
For me, it's a knock out of the park for Denis Villeneuve.
When I saw that scene with the general at the ball, I actually like out loud laughed. It was so good.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Oh man, it wasn't like a laugh out of this is ridiculous. It was like
how perfect is this?
How perfect is this?
Yeah.
How
really,
well done it is.
Just amazing writing.
Man, so good.
I wonder what the budget and box office, boxer office, the aliens.
You're turning into me.
There's aliens, and there comes and
there's the koozie quote.
Arrival, $47 million.
Was it like
box office? 203.4 million.
203.4.
Yeah, so this did well. I think this might be
as it should have.
This might be. I wonder if this is one of Denis Villeneuve's first movies. Let's see here. Dune, Blade Runner 2049. Haven't seen it. Arrival. Oh, he also did Sicario, Prisoners. Oh, these are all bangers. Enemy in 2013. We're gonna do that on the show someday. Dune Part 2, 2023.
Dune Part. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I've not seen all of Denis Villeneuve's movies, but the ones I have seen are all bangers.
Yeah.
All of them. I'm taking them all, but they are all slow burns, which I like, but I do have to be in the mood for.
He seems to be a master of that kind of stuff.
I almost picked a different movie entirely. I was like, I'm either going to pick this one or I'm going to give Nate a couple of options. And I was going to pick The Green Knight, but I didn't know how much you were into like Arthurian legends and knights
and stuff.
And that kind of
I
shit.
Like it.
Well, I imagine you would probably really like The Green Knight. It's
awesome.
got kind of a fucking woo. The way the story goes isn't the way you think you're going to go. I'm not going to say it's a twist, but it doesn't end the way that you think it will. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many heptapod thumbs?
7 out of 7.
Yes. Nate, you've done it. If you're driving a car right now, please pull over for your own safety because I'm sure you're laughing so hard witnessing the height of human comedy that Nate has brought in here this evening with that 7 out of 7 heptapod joke. Out of 10. Let's say you have 10 thumbs.
Easy 10.
But all of your 10 thumbs are heptapods. So they have their own thumbs, but that's a different thing.
Easy 10.
Easy 10,
yeah.
huh? Oh,
I like this movie a lot. One of my favorites.
What I'm talking about. I probably am going to have to give this a 10 too. I think this is the best. Not only like representation, but representation as of like how small, generally speaking, how small people think about the universe.
Oh, man.
Like, it is so big, and the possibilities are endless. Like, literally endless.
Yeah. There's a reason why it's called universe.
Right. It's hard to grasp that all the time, and this movie does a really good job of bottling that feeling and going, yeah, but you didn't think about this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't think about this. Because it's fucking weird and uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Give you all kinds of weird, give you them goose pimples. I was going to go 9, but I think I was going to go 9.5, but I think I am going to push it over the edge to a full-fledged 10 because I think this is my favorite Alien thing.
Yeah, I like this movie so much. I'm thinking about going on eBay and finding the Betamax version for it.
I don't think this one's not on Betamax. Which we're about to watch another one, which I also don't think is on Betamax. We're gonna go watch Alien Outpost. It looks not very old, but also not very good.
Apparently, the acting's pretty bad.
It looks very like meh, like kind of just a movie, know what I mean? But also not good.
Yeah.
So we've done some low effort shit like that, but I'm sure it's probably better than Jiu-Jitsu. So we're going to go check that out, and then we'll be right back. Here's a fake thing, and special thanks to some people that make the show great. Enjoy the fake thing. Wow.
Deep in the hills of Missouri.
July 1812.
Jenkins Jefferson.
also known as Fly Guy 69, discovered the perfect mixture of rye and alfalfa hay and the perfect distilling process.
Aged in the finest pig barrels.
Aged in pig barrels, swine, distilled twice, and then aged in 100% pure Peruvian butt barrels, also aged in blankets.
Aged for 69 months.
At 420 degrees. The finest blankets. Aged in the finest blankets.
Aged in the finest blankets.
They're in the barrel. We wring them out 7 days to wring out the blankets by hand.
Straight into the bottle.
To dry in open containers for 6 days.
Aged in the finest of blankets. Aged in a fine pig blanket. Leaning to get those real deep in the hills of Missouri.
Old Butt Guts whiskey.
Real whiskey.
When you're reaching for a pint of something to start your night right. When you don't pay personal property tax. Or when you don't care if your guts feel like butts. Reach for a tall, cool glass of Butt Guts. Old Butt Guts whiskey.
I drink gut butts just to get drunk.
It works.
I think I'm dying. Gut butts, butter guts gonna make me die. Old gut butts.
Old gut butts whiskey. I drink old butt guts, and now I can dance.
I drink old gut butts, and I can ask old Mary Lou out today now that I'm feeling good. The finest gut ingredients on the planet.
Zero cum added. Less than 0.1% human urine. Guaranteed to get your butt guts.
Now, with safer amounts of mercury.
The perfect partner for your chicken. Distillery built by hand from repurposed sewer line pipes. Triple distilled in recycled caskets.
Old gut butts. She'll probably forgive you.
Old Bud Guts. It'll probably be alright.
Old gut butts. Whiskey. Old butt guts. Definitely not built on blood money.
Brief interjection from your program. I just wanted to throw out a couple of special thanks for the folks that make this show possible. Big thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams, Lamplighter Production for our artwork, Godsized and Growing for some musical guest appearances, the Missouri T-Shirt Company, and Dave, who's our YouTube editor. We probably wouldn't even be on that platform were it not for him. If you want to check out anything any of these amazing people are working on, all of their links are in the description for this episode. If you want to contact the show, you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at It's Just Two Movies. We've got a Facebook page now, so that's on there. You can always leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can email us at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. Okay, yeah, and if you like the show, like, subscribe, leave us a review. That stuff helps tremendously. So anyway, back to the show. All right, Nate, tell the good people about what's this called? Alien Outpost.
You were just talking about how forgettable the name was.
Man, it really is. I said it like 6 times before.
I'd say about 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was just like, Alien Outpost, Alien Outpost.
A forgettable name for a forgettable film that was a complete boring slog to watch. It was just, you watch an interview clip for like a minute, half of which is pure silence, and then you watch a 5-minute clip of soldiers standing around doing nothing and throwing a brand new football around while they're in a random base.
So this being like 23 years after the fall of humanity, they have a lot of new shit.
Oh, so it's not it's almost the fall of humanity. Yeah. I think there's not a lot of.
There's a couple of outposts.
There's not a lot of anything. I was gonna say something specific, but Yeah, there's not a lot of anything in this film. It's just boring nothing.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's not without its charm. Had a couple highlights I liked about it, but it's ultimately it's real bad. Is a 2014 sci-fi action film of an hour and 30 minutes. Stars a bunch of people you've never heard of, and is just long and not very good.
Speaking of the cast, everyone looks like everyone.
They really do. Yeah, yeah. They all. It's a very plain cast of people, all kind of acting like the same character.
They were all the same character, except for the two black guys, of which they were the same character, and the German guy.
Yeah.
Of which was also the same character.
He was very stereotyped.
With a German accent.
Yeah. So what happens is, I'm going full tilt spoilers.
Please
there's really
tell me
nothing,
what happens.
There's nothing there's nothing really to say about this thing. I mean, I could tell you who's in it, but you don't know any of them. What else are they in? Who knows or cares? It's just very plain Jane and kind of dry. But what's happened is you've got a documentary that's being made about one of these last remaining human outposts. And it's a bunch of military guys, and they're having regional conflict with Middle Eastern people.
So
it's just U.S. soldiers in like Iraq.
Yeah.
There's aliens in it for
collectively about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say collectively 3 or 4. Not very much at all. I mean, like barely at all. And they're CGI. First, I thought maybe it was a guy in a suit, but it's not. It's like clearly a...
I hesitate to say it's a guy in a motion capture suit because of how stiff the movement is. It looks like it's something that's just entirely pre-rendered.
Yeah, it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be much worse. So it looked...
It's not good.
I don't know. It looked about what I would expect. It looked about what I was like, all right, if I had to guess, pretty well on the mark. And so it's just a documentary filming these guys that's doing like the interview bits in between where it's just them and the cameraman. And their struggle to not get killed by aliens, but there's barely any aliens. Sounds bad. Direction's bad. It's a dumb story. There are unnecessary risks. The captain, he always comes out of the same room every single time.
He's got his own room.
Like every single time, yeah, he does. At first, I thought it was a bathroom until he came out of it like the 6th time, and I was like, that's just like his office or whatever.
That's his office, his bedroom.
Quarters, whatever.
Yeah. That's his space, and nobody's allowed in there except him.
Mm-hmm.
Which would have been hilarious if this was a better movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been good. So I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. They fight back and they destroy a big tower, and it saves the day. They figured out that if you destroy the big glowing, whirling tower, that it's a good thing.
This all happens in the last 5 minutes of the film.
Last 5, yeah. Yeah, that's probably about right. Maybe 10. But...
I was more interested in trying to find out what specific jet model was flying around in the air than the actual film itself.
And you did. It was a...
Thunderbolt 2, an A-10.
Nice. Good jet stuff. So... I don't have anything to say about this. I will go ahead and rate it, but then I want to talk about what to. Now we'll rate it later. How do you fix this?
Oh, how do I fix it?
Or what would you do with this to make it like enjoyable to watch or profitable? Let me see if I can look up the.
I remember the movies were not good. Oh, what would I do with this movie?
Oh, surprise! Not easy to find.
I remember finding them somewhere. They were like, it was close to breaking even, but it was still a bit behind. I don't remember the exact numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the worldwide box office at 40. Total estimated domestic video sales, 47,000. Worldwide box office, 45,000. So, less than $1 million. I don't see the budget anywhere, though. So... Yeah, it didn't make a ton of money. It doesn't look like it cost a ton of money, but, you know, maybe it looked like they spent money on the CGI. They just didn't have much of it.
Yeah,
it didn't look great, but it also wasn't in the movie, so...
There's probably a reason why. It's, 1, it wasn't that great, and 2, it was too expensive to do something good.
Right.
Probably the closest we got to seeing any detail on the alien was when it was on an operating bed. And then for some reason, what is he, like a corporal? A general? The highest ranking officer.
I think he's the Sarge.
The sergeant.
Like, hey, Sarge.
The highest ranking officer, soldier, sergeant, comes in and just shoots the head like 5 times and pieces of the armor flies off.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. It wasn't. It was badly done.
Yeah, it's pretty poorly put
together. It looked like first year PlayStation 3 graphics. It was probably it looked equivalent to first year PlayStation 3 graphics. Like 2006 comes out, you're playing Killzone. If you have a PlayStation 3 and end up playing it, that's what it looks like. It's not great. And this is from what, 2017? 2014? I think it's 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I definitely thought it looked better than PlayStation 3, but it does not look good, though. Like, it is not a good look. Man, looking at still images of it, it looks like some of it's practical and some of it's not.
Doesn't look good either way.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a very inventive design for sure. It's just like a big broody looking alien with spikes on his face wearing a suit of armor.
A lot of inspiration is Killzone. When I see this, all I see is Killzone. Is that the game I'm thinking about?
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've played that game. Resistance? Either Resistance or Killzone.
So what would you do? What do you do? I kind of like the idea of it being filmed as a documentary.
Yeah, that's neat.
But I would like it as a finished product.
So how they did the documentary filming, it was as if they had journalists. Yeah, they had journalists there. They even did a little scene at the beginning, which was this. I kind of like this scene, but also kind of didn't. They gave they're like, since you're going to be here, we're going to give you firearms. And they're like, well, we're journalists. And we're like, we don't care. And they gave them guns. That's kind of funny. Wouldn't happen in real life.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Like, if this was a comedy film, that'd be kind of neat to throw in.
Yeah. I didn't mind some of the dialogue, but it never went anywhere.
It never went anywhere.
Everybody that's in it is all playing the same character.
Again, they're all the same guy.
Yeah.
With so slightly different faces.
Yeah, they had some good zingers and some good jokes and stuff like that. Like, just like shit talking between the guys. Yeah. But
army men. Yeah.
For them, there's not a lot of anything that works for me in this. But I don't mind the documentary aspect, but I guess watch it as if it were an actual finished feature, not a found footage thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because this is like a lot of unedited footage.
This had a lot of found footage vibes to it with the glitchy camera effects that was added here and there for no reason.
Camera effects are bad. Real bad. Like nausea.
Danny, let's talk about the cinematography.
Okay. It's rough, man. It's not very good. I think the whole thing is shot on handheld, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, you can do that fine. But it's just too much. It's like over the top.
So if you've seen a camera gimbal, it is meant to stabilize the camera itself to where you move the stand that it's on around and the camera stays as stationary as possible.
Right.
This is, I think, now I know for sure that they didn't use this, but I think what they did was they grabbed a gimbal, tore it apart, and replaced everything with springs. So that you only move it for a little bit, and it just shakes everywhere.
It just shakes forever. Yeah, it's... because there's a lot of running. Like, it's the cameraman running with the camera.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's rough stuff.
It would have been better if they just used body cams.
Mm-hmm. I would like a version of this where...
That sounds better, actually. Like, if they actually... Like, if they would have done the whole documentary thing, but because it's a war setting and it's aliens involved, they stuck to body cams. And they still had somebody with a camera here and there, but since they were civilians, they would stay in the outpost. That would be a huge improvement, because at least then you would avoid a lot of the shaky running around. Mm-hmm. You can't focus on anything without getting the urge to vomit.
I didn't care for this in the desert.
That's another
I thought
thing.
It would have been creepier anywhere else. Like, but it's not creepy
if
at
this
all.
Was war-torn New York City.
Yeah.
That
or
would
the
have
mountains. Just even in the
or
mountains.
Yeah.
Middle of
Switzerland.
nowhere, holed up in the Smokies somewhere in an outcropping in a cave. There's just like, I don't know, a last vestige of soldiers and civilians. Civilians turn soldier. Ooh, there you go. There's your backstory right there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll get into a tight pinch, and one guy will be like, actually, I used to be or a lady will be like, actually, I'm a particle physicist. I'm Jeremy Renner in the other movie that we just watched. Surprise, motherfucker. There's my first recast. Jeremy Renner is actually anybody with more agency, I guess, or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a bunch of guys going like, "I want you to your job's to follow orders, damn it."
God, that was ugh.
Yeah, there's some pretty subpar acting in it. Some of it's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's just the camera works so everything else about it's so jarring. It's hard to pay attention to it.
You can't focus on the good stuff without the bad stuff being overwhelmingly in your face.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that seems like a pretty good. It seems to me like that would be a pretty good angle to pursue it. Is there's just a lost little bunker, but you would need more people in it. Like,
yeah.
Maybe a cast of 12 or 13 instead of 8 or however many people were in this.
8 one.
right.
1 guys who all look the same.
But mix them up. Like this is just they're all soldiers. It's a soldier movie, okay.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the last vestiges of humanity. Why would it just be a bunch of dudes? Like why would it just be dudes?
I think
dudes in a corral in the middle of the desert,
shooting goats all the time.
Shooting goats, shooting indigenous people. Like a lot of them, and the occasional alien. But why are they there, though? Like, they could be anywhere. Like, take that last vestige of humanity and just get it to someplace with, like, cover and vegetation and water.
With this film, humanity has survived since it's been 10 years. They've probably rebuilt, and this is just an outpost from when there was an invasion. And they're maintaining it for some reason.
It's a shitty spot for an outpost.
I don't know.
Bad spot. It's a bad spot.
Ooh, bad film.
Yeah. Ooh, bad flick. Yeah, so all right. In my movie, let's say we got 6 soldier guys.
Yeah.
Because one of them's gonna get killed like almost straight away.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird when the movie's like almost like coming towards the end and a guy died and they like had like a little funeral bit or whatever. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was
why
odd.
is this? And then they're gearing up and shit, and I'm like, this should have been 20 minutes.
Should have been a while ago.
20, 30 minutes ago. This would have made for a great movie, but they're just gonna end it. And I want some regular citizens, but I mean to say just
there
people,
were regular citizens, but they were carrying the cameras.
Yeah, I just mean to say people that are that have a specialty that will help in some way, like they're doctors or scientists or, you know what I mean, like research or strategists or diplomats or anything else that makes sense. And also, ladies can be soldiers.
Yeah, there are no ladies in this film.
No, this is
none.
This is
none.
Dude film, bruh.
Dudes only,
bruh.
This film.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It could use a little diversity, a little color, and any.
But Danny, there's
any like a story though. There's not really a story with this. It's just like a bunch of dudes and a guy dies, and they're like, "Oh man, we
standing around for the majority of the film."
Yeah, well, they're getting interviewed and shit. I mean, like it's trying to build character. It's just not very good at it. So, what would be better?
Oh, a lot of things. First of all, soundtrack, there is none. Sound effects, poorly done. I think whoever the sound designer is needs to be replaced for sure.
I thought it was, it was about on par with what I was expecting getting into it.
What I was expecting,
it wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't
great.
the worst thing you know what I mean?
There is better.
Yeah,
but there is a lot worse too.
Yeah, for sure. So, man, give credits where it's due, but it's put together in such a weird way, and it doesn't really go anywhere. So,
So
first
with
thing I
that,
would do,
it only made it worse since the film is going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would do is make it about
something.
Yeah, make it about something. Give it a B story even. If it's just about this, also give it a B line story. All the interview bits, those are great. I don't think they need to be scattered all throughout the movie. Do a little bit up top, maybe like one or two in the middle.
One or two in the middle, and then finish the film off.
At the very, very end. Yeah, you throw pepper a couple in there.
Yeah. That was probably the best parts of the film, was the interview sections.
Yeah.
I mean, the acting could have been a bit better, but considering they were, traumatized soldiers.
It was all right.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was better than the rest of it was by far. Yeah.
It compared to the other parts of the film, it is pretty good.
What do you think about the style of the aliens that just are very generic aliens? I mean, you can Google an image of these things.
So
it's like Alien Outpost aliens. They're just very generic looking.
They're generic, slow, lumbering, humanoid.
They probably grunt.
They were grunting.
Yeah.
But the only thing you'd hear from them is the whirring sound of the gun powering up, and then shoot, and then blow up. That's my reaction. It's meh.
You could have got the aliens out of there.
Yeah.
I guess you do have to keep it an alien movie, though.
It would have been cool to do an after invasion alien movie.
This is what I mean when I'm like, I hate it when they do this shit with aliens. Like bipedal, humanoid, shooting a gun. You know what I mean? Like, oh, is that what it was? That just what an alien soldier? It looks. Oh, so it looks exactly like us, but it has like horns in its face. No, man.
I will say, with
probably fucking not. It's not like it doesn't look cool, but say it's like a dragon man or something.
With how much I like Mass Effect, it also has the same issue.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. It's something about this.
It looks like a rip-off Mass Effect character.
Yeah, I was like, man, something about him reminds me of something. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I think it might be Mass
You're probably
Effect.
thinking, no. So he's like the alien in this film is like a mixture of the brutes from Halo, the aliens from Killzone, or whatever that PlayStation 3 game is, and it looked like the armor skin scales on this alien was like plate armor, so I was thinking of the Turians of Mass Effect. It's like the creator of this film grabbed all three concepts and mixed them together.
Just mushed them.
Yeah.
You know what would be fucking sweet, man?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
it's very uninspired.
Yeah, it is very all right, if I was playing a video game and they're like, this is the bad soldier or whatever, the bad brute. Okay, yeah, great. Bang, 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 bang. Whatever. It's a fine looking for something like that, but for it to be like the main, and they barely show it to you at all. Like,
it's too expensive, Danny.
Yeah, I guess so.
Too expensive.
I don't know. It's a really weird combination of choices as to how to make a movie about aliens and how to showcase your alien. Because after all, that is the disturbing part about aliens, is they're strange and alien.
Alien, yeah. They're alien. They're unknown to us, foreign to our perception. We've never seen them before, except that this is something that I've seen before.
It's like a Triceratops man with less horn.
Less horn and boring.
And just boring as shit. Way more boring than a Triceratops. So I would like some different engaging characters. Like, I don't know. Who did I say a minute ago? I was like, get whoever to play Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner. That's his name. The
Jerry Bear.
Yeah, just get Jeremy Renner in it as the same character. And just have him have some interactions with the soldiers, because he interacted with the soldiers in Arrival, and it was fun stuff. Amy Adams, we'll get Amy Adams in there. Oh man, we
need 12 clones of Jeremy Renner.
We'll replace the Sarge. We'll replace the Sarge with Forrest Whitaker, and then we'll replace the aliens with the aliens from And the whole movie will be about how they need to learn how to communicate with him. And
Now, that's a movie I'd watch.
And time travel.
And not time travel, time perception.
Nailed it.
That's a movie I'd watch.
Yeah, there just needs to be something more engaging going on here. Could you make it a comedy? Like, you could do whatever you wanted to. You could. I would prefer like a drama.
You know what's a good movie I watched recently?
What?
Zack something, the guy who did that DC movie.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. He also did. I'm probably thinking of someone else, but he also did Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
So it turns out that same year he released the prequel, something of the Dead, Army of the Thieves or Thieves of the Dead.
Thieves,
yeah, Army of Thieves. It is a zombie movie with no zombies.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love this film, by the way.
It's not a zombie movie. It's a heist film.
It's a heist film.
It's a heist film in a universe where zombies exist. Yeah.
It is so good.
But they're still under control. Yeah, I had fun with it.
I think we should approach this Alien redo, this Alien Outpost redo, under the same idea. Under the same guise
of making it be like, look, there's not really aliens in it, but it's a world where aliens exist.
Because here's the thing: most of the enemy encounters in this film were humans being mind controlled.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Make them little tiny organisms or whatever.
That would be cool. There we go.
Oh my god, what if they're just like telepathic crabs? That's just it. Telepathic crabs. But we're all the humans, we're all subterranean now, and the crabs can't get us because these telepathic crabs can't dig for some reason.
Right.
All they can do is hang out and snip and read your mind at a certain distance.
I'm liking this already.
Yeah, so they have fucking telepathic crabs. Telepathic crab alien apocalypse. Humanity lives underground. You got some soldiers. Who do you get for your soldiers? Not Mark Wahlberg. Don't even say it.
God, no, not Marky Mark.
This can have like kind of a comedic tone to it then. Right.
I'm all up for it.
I'd love to get Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx would be good.
Jamie Foxx.
It'd be sweet if you could get like Brad Pitt as the Sarge. Like just the commanding officer. Yeah. Him just be, hey, damn it. I don't know, man. Like it doesn't really make a difference.
And since
because all these characters are the same, I'm casting them based on nothing. Like, okay, so yeah, I would get a bunch of famous people, I guess. Like,
so in this idea, instead of doing 8 soldiers that all look the same and they're all trying to play the same character, few soldiers here and there, but most are civilians.
Yeah, I would say so.
So we don't necessarily need to stick to soldier-aged individuals or people who look like they're aged.
No, of course not.
So, a couple older people.
I'd love to get. Are we leaning into comedy on this, or
should we?
It would just be so much easier, man. I was thinking
it would be easy.
Because you could get like Will Forte as like a guy who just lied about his job resume, so he could get into the colony or whatever. So he's like a professor of the arts, but he doesn't actually know anything about it. But he's like wearing the cardigan and got the beard.
You really think a professor of the arts is going to make it into a colony?
You never. Depends on the size of the colony. You know, if we're talking about like 1/2 of a block of, a city or whatever, it just it depends. It doesn't matter. It can be whatever you want it to be. But and they get into some hijinks or whatever. Let's say there's a murder in their neck of the woods or in their compound, but it's like somebody everybody hated, but it still is kind of like a whodunit, and there are no aliens in it. They just like talk about it. They narrate it at the beginning when they're doing like a big sky view of like the crabs all walking all over the place.
And that's the only time you see the aliens.
Telepathic crab in 2037. Telepathic crabs landed on Earth. Humanity was wiped out, just like a little puff of smoke or whatever, and the crabs now control the surface, and they're like and just bubbling at the mouth. And then, just humanity's all underground, and there's a murder mystery.
This is hilarious, and I'm going for it.
That'd be fun. You know what I mean? No, I like your idea of it being in a world where aliens exist, but they're just not in it. Because that movie honestly would have benefited from not having an alien twist. Like, even still as a military movie, it doesn't make any sense, and it's not good.
They were not shooting at aliens the whole film. Except for, like, total 2 minutes, and the other 2 minutes that the alien was in, it was on a gurney.
Right, yeah, I think I just shot it right in the dome.
Yeah, shot it in the head like 7 times.
Yeah, it looks real bad. Yeah. Because I recently, I guess last year, I probably ought to get into another one, but last year I played Ghost of Tsushima. That looked better than...
Video games look better than this film.
Than this, yeah. When that guy's getting shot in the dome when he's on the gurney.
Yeah.
There's some pretty funny dialogue, so I guess I would just go dial all of it up, and it's in the same vein where like it is serious and it is dramatic, but everybody's like quipping and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like different characteristics of it. I don't mean everybody's quipping, but like you got a dry humor guy, you got a guy who just can't get it together, you got a lady and she's sassy pants, and you know whatever tropes you want to give those characters, it doesn't really matter. If they're funny individuals and there's a fun mystery object or whatever, a mystery that has to be resolved, by God, they can do it with the power of friendship, and it'd be way better than this.
Oh man, this film was so boring.
What did you think about it, Nate? How many?
Can't even think of the.
All right, how many? If your thumbs were hard-boiled eggs, of which there are none in this movie, I just mean to say bland. If your thumbs were unsalted
Stale
crackers,
toast.
Just regular crackers, not saltines, just regular
Saltines, but the salt was
somebody
not
else
applied.
Somebody else licked all the salt off. How many thumbs would you give this as a bad movie as far as like how good of a time you had watching it?
Oh,
I'll go first. 4.
I'd go 2.
Yeah, it just I did have a bit of fun with it, but I was done having fun with it after like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, how much of this is left? We've been sitting in front of it forever. It still had 40 minutes. Oh my God, it's so drawn out. Oh man, what if they find out at the end of this comedy movie that they find out like Kristen Wiig and Will Forte and we'll get
that one of them can see in the future, and that they call the General of China.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I can't even remember their face anymore. I'm not going to say their faces. I'm just going to say their face. They all have the same one.
It would be great if you could just get Steve Martin as a bystander who has like 10 lines, you know what I mean, in the whole movie. Just crack a joke in the background because he's so tall and just like look over everybody and be like, whoa.
If Steve Martin's going to be in here, Martin Short's got to be in here somewhere as well.
No, it doesn't have to be. But you could trade them off or whatever. Just do them as the same.
They're all the same character.
As the same character, yeah. Because everybody in this is the same character. It'd be funny as the military, maybe as the soldier, you just get Mark Wahlberg and CGI him. So there's a bunch of them. Where like he plays all the soldiers, but nobody ever mentions that they're all clones.
I'm okay with that.
What do you mean?
What about...
What, you want me to shoot that guy?
What about... No, they grab Mark Wahlberg, CGI, because they can do this now. They CGI him when he was Marky Mark, and that's all the same character. Like, there's clones of early Marky Mark.
As the military?
Yeah.
You might be able to get some traction with that. Yeah. Any fucking silly shit you could do this. Did you give it saltless cracker thumbs?
2 desalted saltine crackers.
Yeah. So not very exciting. That's enough about that. I don't know what you would do with it. That's on my part. This is a failure. Not the episode, but the movie selection.
This is a cinematic failure.
This is the movie selection is a failure because it's not really interesting enough to like you would just strip it down and do anything else because nothing really happens.
Yeah,
here. So
you can't really. This movie is such a boring failure. You can't really pick it apart and do anything with it to make it better.
No,
other than to scrap it and do something else.
and it's just lazy. Like I would insult it for being over the top if it were, but it's just
it makes me feel lazy for sitting there watching it.
Yeah,
I could be doing something.
That's very true. So anyway, next segment of the show.
Hey, what you watching?
All right, Nate, what you been getting into, brother?
Recently, I've been playing a lot of Dicey Dungeons. It is a game that apparently not a lot of people have heard of. It's an indie game. If you ever played like card-based RPG games, or really any RPG game, you get equipment and you use the equipment. It's turn-based, but it's all based on dice. So you roll dice, and like there's one where you select a dice and you drag it, and it says deal X damage, and X equals to the D6 that you roll. And so if you roll a 6, you deal 6 damage, and that you can only use that equipment once. But then there's one where like you can only use a maximum of 3, so 1 through 3 you roll is fine. But if you roll 4 more, you can't use it.
So you're saying what you're saying is it's an RPG.
It's an RPG.
Okay,
and it's dice based.
That's good stuff.
And you're a dice character, and it's all about luck. But there's also dice manipulation, so it's kind of not luck, but also very lucky. It's
okay.
That's kind of the theme. Luck. The main antagonist is Lady Luck.
Okay.
It's a good game. I like it a lot. I've been playing it.
That sounds fun. I haven't really been playing anything, man. I had played some Animal Crossing last week. I thought about getting into a new game, but I just like looked through my games and didn't. I think I'm probably gonna replay Spider-Man. It's gonna be my next
PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be my next go-to.
I was playing Watch Dogs 2 for a little bit, but not really my style.
Not your jam.
Not my jam. Used to be, but when I saw it for sale for like $30 and it had all the DLC, which for some reason is like worth $130 some worth of DLC, and it's stupid. But it was for anyways. I hate that. I hate how the DLC can cost more than the game itself. It's stupid. Anyways.
DLC stands for downloadable content.
It's extra.
You all fucking know that.
It's extra stuff for games that sometimes should have been in the game in the very beginning. I hate day one DLC.
Yeah.
Anyways, when I saw that all of it was $30,
I don't mind a pre-order gift though.
Pre-order stuff is okay.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I'm okay with that. I'm considering pre-ordering Dying Light 2. By the time this episode comes out,
that's
the game will be out.
But
kind
of like a fear puzzle game.
Dying Light 2 is zombie parkour.
Okay.
It's a zombie game. Think Left 4 Dead, but not really. It's a single player zombie game, and there's a lot of zombies with different archetypes.
Oh, yeah, I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's parkour, and I absolutely love the first one. I bought all the DLC for it, and I like.
You'd love that DLC.
That's
what you're always saying. You're always banging on about. Man, I wish there was more downloadable.
This
content.
one added a whole nother world.
Love content, red hot content.
This one added a whole nother world, and you got to drive a dune buggy. It was fun.
The fucking dune buggy?
Yeah,
that sounds alright.
It was a fun game. I love it. I love it so much that I'm considering pre-ordering it. Which by the time this episode comes out, the game will be out.
It'll be out.
Yeah.
Do you get some cool shit for pre-ordering it?
No. Costume.
I watched the first episode of Peacemaker.
I haven't seen Peacemaker.
The show. Well, they came out. Our time, it came out yesterday.
Oh, that's probably why.
That might be why. Yeah, I watched one episode of it. Well, I really liked the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, yeah. James Gunn. He's fantastic.
I heard they were gonna make a actual series out of John Cena's character Peacemaker, And I was like, you know what? He was pretty funny and pretty entertaining, and I really enjoyed him in the movie, but I don't know if you can get enough mileage out of that for a TV show.
Yeah.
And after episode 1, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it all. It's pretty good. So
yeah, sometimes it's easy to forget that ex-WWE wrestlers, they're sometimes really good actors.
One of these days I'm going to see a picture of that guy. You know what I mean? See what he looks like.
Where is he? I can't see him in this film.
I don't know.
It's just nothing.
He's in the background. I spend all my time photoshopping John Cena into pictures of other movies he's not in. Just pull up any picture, he's in it.
All right.
Here he is in Back to the Future. Yeah, I haven't been getting into much else. I've still been reading The Drunken Botanist by Amy Stewart. I'm really enjoying that.
Speaking of WWE, I forgot about this. So back in the 80s/90s, there was, I mean, you've probably heard of roller derbies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what a
so,
roller derby is.
Think that, but with WWE and tight spandex, big muscly men rolling in figure eights, derby style. And they're slamming each other against walls.
That sounds like it'd be about like 10 minutes of entertainment, and then after that I'd be like, all right.
Yep. I watched 10 episodes of it. It is...
Don't doubt that.
It is hilarious. So, I'm not a big wrestle fan. I'm not a big WWE fan.
Yeah.
It's But this show was so...
I liked it when I was a kid. I haven't watched it in a really long time.
This show was so ridiculous, I had to keep watching. I can't tell you anything about what happened other than big muscly men in spandex and face paint were slamming each other against the walls.
Are they like hitting each other hard?
Yeah.
Oh, like real on roller skates? Just...
roller derby, roller skates.
What is this called?
It's called Roller Games.
And
it's team-based WWE on roller skates. It is ridiculous.
Have you seen Spider-Man No Way Home?
I have not, but I want to.
I was going to say, let's talk about it, but you haven't seen it.
I haven't.
Because this will come out long enough where I'm like, all right, I can spoil it. I can spoil a little. Because now, like, I'll see memes where it's like, it's got all, never mind. I won't. Anyway,
I've been asking if they actually got Tobey Maguire to get in, and nobody's been answering me. So I guess that's quite the spoiler.
Yeah.
So in that case, don't answer that question.
Okay.
But what's another show? Another ridiculous show I've been watching.
I am getting ready to start reading because The Drunken Botanist is pretty dense. Reading material, but I'm getting ready to start reading a book Bird left for me called The Crying of Lot 49. So I'm getting ready to get into that.
Yeah.
And that looks like a quick read, something I can, get through in a couple days.
Yeah. But yeah, another ridiculous TV show I've been watching. It's called Paranormal Home Inspectors.
Okay.
Basically, somebody calls in and is like, I think my house is haunted.
And they come in and say,
No. Kind of. So first they come in and they took a look around, and then they send it, be like, well, it's possible that this is haunted. And then they send in a contractor who throughout the day, he looks around the house and he's like, oh, this door is screwed on crooked, so it's always going to open. Mm-hmm. Or these boards aren't nailed down all the way, so when you walk, it's going to squeak. Mm-hmm. And also it'll squeak randomly depending on house temperature and humidity.
There's a hole in this vent, so it causes a draft.
The humidifier is a little out of whack, so it changes the humidity, causing the wood in the house to warp. Just, easy explanations on why there's weird noises and weird movement throughout the house. That night, they send a psychic to go throughout the house.
Yeah.
And says that the house is haunted every time.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, well, what do you think? And every time,
great that's a show. What's that on? Where do you find that?
It's not.
Are you like watching on YouTube?
I have to watch it on YouTube and those weird pirate sites because it's not on anything. They aired it for like 2 seasons, and then didn't catch any attention afterwards.
That
So
sounds delightful. What's it called?
Paranormal Home Inspectors.
Paranormal Home Inspectors. I'm into it, man. That sounds like fun.
It's a great watch. Yeah, I highly recommend it. Because every time at the end, they're like, I think my house is haunted. Because, you know, the last person that came there was a psychic that says, your house is haunted. And they do a couple ceremonies and they're like, demons leave this house. And the house is going to keep making noises.
Yeah, of course. Because it's the other stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Great show. I like it a lot. And then lastly, I watched Army of the Dead and Army of Thieves. Great movies.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. I really like the ending of Army of the Dead. Not expected. You rarely see it, that kind of thing.
I have a lot of mixed feelings about Army of the Dead. I liked Army of Thieves more.
Army of Thieves was significantly better. I think
my favorite part about it, I find the guy that plays the lead role charming,
amazing,
and
absolutely adorable.
I like the fact that it's just in a world where zombies exist, but there are no zombies in it.
I love
it's
that
like
concept.
It's you know where the humanity is fighting back with all of our coordinated militaries and satellite missile strikes and
people who have I wouldn't say experience, but they know what they're doing in handling a situation like this.
Right,
like,
against some zombies.
In real life, there are like what's the word? There are processes to deal with a zombie invasion. There are processes built in.
I am sure as shit that there is a code Z.
There is. I love it.
It doesn't matter how unlikely it is, they've still got it covered. You know what I mean?
They've got one for
we have a contingency plan in place.
Contingency plans. There's one for if it's a fungal type. There's one for it's a rabies type, because it could be.
Rabies is scary. You ever look up that old YouTube video of a dude being filmed with rabies?
I think I've seen. Yeah,
it's like real old shit, like on black and white, like hand crank film.
Yeah.
It's pretty disturbing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a shitty way to go, man.
Oh, man.
Ugh. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe the psychic crabs give you rabies. But again, they're only in the first 2 minutes of the movie. And it's just stock footage of regular crabs.
Stock footage with regular crabs with CGI elements put on top of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. To make them green
fluorescent.
Yeah, but people that are red-green colorblind will be like, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
The crabs are psychic. Seems cool to me. Why don't they just boil them? Because they're psychic, man. You can't.
You know the movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes.
They're just... There you go. You've got yourself a formula for what we should do with this movie.
I'd like to rewatch that sometime. I haven't seen that since...
It's stupid.
Yeah, of course. It's called the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yeah, I've seen it. But it was probably... Good Lord. I was probably 16 when I watched it. Maybe 15. So it's been a long time. I wouldn't mind to give it a repass.
Yeah.
I remember laughing a lot at it and being like, what? Why?
I know a buddy of mine who actually watched it when he was 4. His parents made him watch it along with some other old 80s films. He said that it gave him nightmares when he was 4, and he actually got himself to rewatch it recently. And he told me about it, and he was like, I don't know why this gave me nightmares. This film was so bad.
Yeah, it is something else, man. It was a different breed back then. I wish we got more of that now.
God.
But with the same enthusiasm, make Attack of Bananas from Saturn, and just Saturn Bananas, and just do it with practical effects, do it fucking earnest, and make it the best that you can make it. Shoot it on a fucking iPhone 12 or whatever. Who fucking cares? And it would be good.
It would be good.
If you could do the rest of it good, who cares if it's just a guy in a banana suit or somebody throwing a banana at the camera or whatever? It'd be fine. It'll be fine. It'll translate, trust me, because it'll be a good, serious film, and just this also happens.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be good
I'd pay
stuff.
for that. I'd watch that in theaters at least 3 times.
It doesn't matter as long as you mean it. As long as you mean what you're getting after.
Yeah, that seems to be a lot of problems that pop up when it comes to bad films. This was phoned in. Yeah, you've got to put effort into it. Even if it's a bad film, if it has effort, that's when it becomes good. Like, think of what's an example of a
you brought it up, motherfucker.
The Room. There are people in that film that have put a lot of effort into it.
Oh yeah.
And if everyone else was like, "Hey, what was his name in the film? Johnny?" It wasn't Tommy. Hold on. It's been such a while since I've seen that film. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, even if it's a bad film, if you put effort into it, then it really shines through.
Yeah, agreed.
You guys aren't gonna start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's call that gold talk for a one-eyed Batman.
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob. We don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin businesses are booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
You know the movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes.
They're just... There you go. You've got yourself a formula